The steel beast awakens ***. The city of Verdanus was peaceful in the morning. Light flying cars moved smoothly in the air. Children laughed near food stalls and giant digital signs blinked across the skyline. No one expected what was coming, not even the military satellites that circled above it. Began with a soft tremble, the kind that made glasses rattle on tables and birds suddenly take flight. People looked around confused. Then the ground cracked open in the middle of Central Square, and from beneath the stone and steel something massive began to rise. It was a lion made of pure metal, but not rusty or old. It was polished chrome with glowing red eyes, and a mane made of whirling blades. The creature let out a deafening roar, and the sound broke windows in every building around it. People screamed and ran as the robo-lion stepped out of the crater, its steps heavy enough to shake the ground. Police droids fired stun beams at it, but the beams bounced off harmlessly. Military tanks rolled in from the South Street, but one swipe of the lion's claw turned them into burning piles of scrap. The beast was not just strong, it was smart. It targeted communication towers first, cutting the city off from the outside world. Across the city in a narrow alley far from the chaos, a woman moved through the shadows. She wore a long coat and a small backpack and walked like she had nothing to fear. Beside her walked a young girl, maybe 10 years old, her long green hair glowing faintly in the dim light. The girl looked scared, but the woman remained calm, her eyes scanning the smoke-filled sky above. The woman's name was Kira. Once she had been a top military scientist. She had designed machines like this robo-lion long ago. Before she vanished from the public eye, people thought she was dead, but she was very much alive, and now she had returned with a secret too, dangerous to share with anyone. The girl beside her was the secret. Kira knelt and gently held the girl's face. Listen to me, do not speak, just stay close and breathe. Slowly the girl nodded, even though her eyes were wide with fear. Kira looked toward the sound of the roaring beast and narrowed her eyes. It was heading straight toward them. Crowds of people ran past them, but Kira walked forward, pulling the girl with her. Smoke and debris filled the street, and the ground was still trembling, but she did not stop as they reached the main road. The robo-lion appeared from behind a tall building, its eyes locked onto the girl. Instantly, it roared again, louder than before, and people dropped to the ground, covering their ears. Kira stood still in front of the beast. The girl clinging to her side. Soldiers shouted from behind cover, ordering them to move, but Kira ignored them. The lion took one step forward, then another, its metal claws digging into the concrete like butter weapons locked onto it from every direction. Fighter drones hovered overhead, preparing to fire, but the lion did not attack. Instead, it stopped just a few meters from Kira and the girl, its red eyes flickering like it was confused. Kira looked up at it, her voice low and steady. I know who you are, Asheronth. Name hit something deep inside the machine. Its tail lowered, its claws retracted slightly, and it growled softly like a beast recognizing its master. The green-haired girl stepped forward. Despite Kira's grip, her small hand reached out without fear. Her fingers touched the lion's nose, and the entire city went silent as the massive machine bent its front legs and lowered its head to the ground. It bowed. Soldiers lowered their weapons in shock. The drones hovered uncertainly above, waiting for new orders. The news cameras captured everything, broadcasting to every corner of the galaxy. Who was this girl, and why did the deadliest weapon on the planet obey her? Kira looked at the people around them and spoke in a loud voice. Do not touch her, do not follow us, or this city will burn again. She turned around, calmly holding the girl's hand, and walked away. The robo-lion lifted its head and followed them like a loyal guard. Smoke still filled the air, buildings still burned, but in that moment, the chaos paused, not out of peace, but out of fear. Everyone had seen something impossible: a woman with a hidden past, a child with strange powers, and a beast made of steel that bowed before them like a king to his queen. This was only the beginning, and the real war had not yet begun. She knows its name. The city of Verdanus stood in silence after the chaos. The streets were broken, the sky thick with smoke, but the soldiers did not move. No one dared to chase the woman or the girl. Not after what they had witnessed the most powerful machine on the planet had bowed to. Then, like a pet to its master, deep inside the city's ruins, Kira led the green-haired girl through abandoned tunnels far below ground the Robo-Lion. Acheron followed silently, its heavy steps echoing like thunder through the metal halls, but it made no move to harm them, only watched the girl as if she was something precious, something sacred. The girl looked up at Kira, her voice soft. "Why did it listen to me, Kira?" Paused, her fingers brushing against the dusty wall once long ago. "I helped design machines like Acheron, but they were never meant to think for themselves, only to destroy. This one is different." They entered an old underground station. Lights flickered dimly above as Kira searched for a hidden control panel. She opened it with a code that only she knew, and a steel door groaned open, revealing a secure room filled with old equipment, maps, and monitors. Acheron stopped at the door, refusing to enter. Kira smiled faintly. "It's programmed to protect you, not spy on you," she told the girl. "Now come inside, we need answers." The girl sat quietly as Kira connected to one of the old consoles. Her fingers typing fast, dusty screens came to life, one by one filled with data code and blueprints, all of them marked HFY. "What's happening to me?" the girl whispered. "I don't remember anything before 3 days ago. I just woke up in that lab. And then you found me." Kira looked at her closely. Her green hair shimmered faintly under the lights. Her eyes had a strange golden tint beneath the surface, and her heartbeat, it was not quite human. "You are not just a child," Kira said slowly. "You are something more, something created or born for a purpose. And Acheron recognizes you not as a target, but as its queen." The girl shook her head. "I don't want to be a queen, but the city does not care what you want." Kira said, "They've seen the footage. They know what you can do. They'll come for you, and they will not ask questions back." Above ground at the government headquarters, a council of generals and scientists watched the footage again and again. The woman, the girl, the Boeing lion. One of the generals slammed his fist on the table. "Find them. Now activate Project Falcon and send the drones. I want her alive or dead. And bring me the machine's core." In a dark part of the city, something else awakened, a sleek black drone unlike any other hidden by the military long ago. It had no pilot and no limits. It was designed to hunt and destroy AI threats across any world. Its code was ruthless, and now it had a target. Meanwhile, Kira showed the girl a screen displaying Acheron schematics. "I named it after an old myth," she explained, "a guardian that protected the bloodline of a royal house on a distant planet. Nobody believed me when I said I could build such loyalty into a machine. But I did, and now it has found you. Why me?" the girl asked again. "On nobody." Kira's eyes darkened. "That's what they want you to believe." Suddenly, alarms blared on the old system. Someone had breached their location. Fast shadows flickered on the cameras. Soldiers moved like ghosts, and behind them floated a black shape with red eyes and claw-like arms. "It's too soon," Kira muttered. "They're already here." She grabbed a small device and handed it to the girl. "Whatever happens, do not drop this. It connects your heartbeat to Acheron directly. If you panic, he will know. If you're hurt, he will protect you." Girl held the device tightly as Kira activated the escape tunnel. Acheron growled outside, sensing the danger approaching from above. The tunnel opened, and Kira pushed the girl inside. "Go," she said. "I'll hold them off." "No," the girl cried, but Kira forced her forward, closing the gate behind her. The soldiers broke through, the ceiling ropes dropping as they slid down, weapons drawn. Kira stood alone facing them, her eyes cold like steel. From outside, the ground exploded. Acheron charged, roaring so loud it shook the walls. Its red eyes burned with fury as it crushed the attackers one by one. But then the black drone arrived, flying silently behind it. It launched an energy spear straight into Acheron's side, and the great beast stumbled. Acheron roared again, louder this time, and the girl deep in the tunnel stopped. She fell to her knees, clutching the device, her eyes filled with tears, but also something else, something ancient and powerful. Her voice echoed through the tunnels, and Acheron heard it. "Rise, Acheron," and the beast obeyed. Metal twisted its wounds, sealed Its claws glowed blue, and it lunged at the drone with renewed fury. In that moment, the soldiers realized the truth. She didn't control the machine. She awakened it, and now nothing would stop it from protecting her, not even the end of the world. Target marked eliminate the girl asterisk. In a high-security space station orbiting Earth's outer layer, a dark command room lit up with red warnings across every screen. Multiple feeds played over and over again, the same terrifying moment. A metal lion bowing to a young green-haired girl. In the room stood the director of the Planetary Security Council, hands clenched behind his back, jaw tight. He watched the footage silently as others debated around him. "She's not human," one officer said. "She must be a genetic weapon," said another. "We don't need more analysis," the director said, turning to face them. "We need a solution. That girl is a threat to every nation on Earth. Find her, eliminate her." At the center of the room, he pressed a holographic button labeled Protocol 0 Execute. Within seconds, black-suited assassins received their order. A red-marked image of the green-haired girl blinked on their visors. The label said, "Eliminate without hesitation. Target cannot be allowed to live." Far below, in a ruined part of Verdanus, the girl and Kira hid in a storage bay once used for underground trains. Acheron stood outside the entrance like a statue, its red eyes slowly scanning the shadows. Inside, the girl sat on an old crate, hands gripping the device Kira gave her. She kept thinking about the way the lion looked at her, not like a machine, but like it knew her heart. Kira moved quietly across the space, her hand pressed against a map on the wall. "There's an old gate north of here. If we can reach it, we can leave the city and disappear." The girl nodded slowly, but her voice trembled. "Why do they want to kill me?" "Because you scare them," Kira said without looking back. "Because you are something they can't control." A soft beep echoed from Kira's wrist device. She cursed under her breath. "They've found us. 3 heat signatures approaching. Fast, no local radio. These aren't soldiers, they're hunters." The girl stood, but her knees shook. "Will Acheron protect us?" "He'll do more than that," Kira said, loading her plasma pistol. "But even he has limits." Suddenly, the walls around them exploded inward. Smoke poured into the room as 3 black-armored assassins stepped through the fire. They carried railguns that hissed with silent death, aiming not at Kira but at the girl. Acheron roared from outside and leapt through the hole like a falling star. Its claws sliced into the lead attacker before he even pulled the trigger. The other 2 jumped aside, firing their weapons wildly. The girl screamed and dropped to the floor. Kira dragged her behind a steel beam, just as bullets sparked all around them. Acheron was fast, but the assassins were faster than any normal human. One of them leapt onto its back, planting a device that sent electric shocks through its spine. The lion shuddered and slammed into the wall. The girl watched in horror. Something inside her pulsed. Her veins lit up faintly, a green glow beneath her skin. She crawled forward and touched the ground with her hand. Her heartbeat synced with Acheron's core again. From its broken stance, the robo-lion's red eyes turned blue. The device on its back shattered. It rose slowly, even more massive, its mane sparking with plasma. It let out a low growl that shook the walls and pounced. The second assassin fired a shock round. But Acheron disappeared from sight for a split second. Its entire body flickered like a glitch. When it reappeared, the attacker was impaled on one glowing claw. The final assassin saw the girl alone in the open and made his move. He ran straight for her, blade drawn. Kira was still behind cover and couldn't react fast enough. The girl looked up at him, her eyes glowing bright now fully awake. She didn't scream this time. She raised her hand and a strange energy pushed outward like a pulse. The assassin froze in midair, then his body dropped to the floor as if gravity had tripled. Kira stared in shock. "What was that?" Don't know, the girl whispered, breathing hard. I didn't mean to do it. Achiron returned to her side, placing one giant paw in front of her protectively. It lowered its head again and gently nudged her shoulder as if checking if she was okay. Kira stood slowly and approached them. They won't stop. Not until you're gone. You saw what you just did. You're not just connected to Acheron. You're something else, something bigger. The girl looked up, confused and afraid. But I don't remember anything. You will, Kira said. And when you do, you'll understand why they fear you so much. Outside, another camera drone watched from far above. It sent the live feed to the council's war room. The director's face turned pale. It's worse than we thought. The machine is evolving. And the girl, she's activating ancient tech with her mind. He turned to his commanders. I want a kill squad of 20. Burn the city if you have to. But bring me her heart. Back in the ruins, the girl looked out through the broken wall and whispered, They'll come again. Kira nodded. Yes, but next time we'll be ready. Escape through the Iron Forest asterisk. The smoke from battle still clung to the sky as Kira guided the girl through a shattered passage beneath Verdanus. Pipes groaned above their heads, old lights flickered weakly, and the ground vibrated faintly with distant explosions. Acheron followed behind them like a silent tank, its giant body barely fitting through the narrow corridor, its claws scraping sparks from the walls. We can't stay in the city, Kira said softly, her voice tense. They'll track us with satellites, heat sensors, heartbeat monitors, everything. We need cover, real cover. The girl, her green hair now tied back with a torn piece of cloth, looked up at her. Where are we going? Kira paused, turned to look at the map burned into her old wrist tablet, and pointed north, to the Iron Forest. The girl frowned. Is that really a forest? Not like the ones from stories, Kira replied. It used to be a mega factory zone before the War of Shutdown. Now it's nothing but twisted towers, broken steel trees, and machines too old to understand peace or war. No one dares go there. Anymore, not even the military. Acheron growled softly as they neared a large steel gate, rusted shut from decades of neglect. Kira placed her palm on a broken control panel. Sparks jumped out, and the system tried to reject her access. She whispered, Override code, 31 Delta Acheron, and the locks groaned, gears grinding for the first time in years. The gate opened. Just enough for them to slip through. On the other side was a world unlike anything the girl had seen. Giant broken robots lay half buried in the earth like sleeping giants. Rusted beams twisted upward like tree branches. Mechanical vines dangled from tall structures, creaking in the wind. The ground was uneven, half metal, half ash. Acheron stepped onto the old soil and stopped. Its sensors spun. Its red eyes scanned the horizon. In the distance, a flicker of movement, then silence. The girl stayed close to Kira. Are there things living here? Kira nodded. Old defense units that never got the shutdown signal. Some are blind, some are insane. All of them will attack if they feel threatened. So don't run, don't shout. And never touch the blue moss. They moved slowly through the metallic wilderness. Every step echoed strangely. Somewhere above them, a broken loudspeaker crackled with static. Faint voices from decades ago played in broken loops, factory announcements, emergency evacuations, screams from the past. The girl whispered, This place feels like a graveyard. It is, Kira said. But it's the only place where satellites don't see clearly. Too much electromagnetic noise from the old war tech. Suddenly, a metal howl echoed through the forest. Acheron froze. Kira pulled the girl behind a wrecked crawler tank. A shape sprinted across the clearing, thin and long, like a robotic wolf. Then another, and another. The sound of claws on steel rang out in every direction. They've sensed us, Kira whispered. Pack drones, fast, hungry, and they hate. Acheron. One of the drones leapt out from the shadows. It slammed into Acheron's side, but bounced off like a rubber ball. Acheron grabbed it mid-air and crushed its body, but more were coming. Kira aimed and fired a pulse blast at another drone. The shot blew off its head, but 3 more replaced it instantly. The girl held the heartbeat device tighter. Acheron, help us! The robo-lion roared and leapt into the air, claws spinning like saws. It crashed into a group of the pack drones, tearing them apart. But for everyone destroyed, more seemed to crawl from beneath the rubble. They poured out of old vents and fallen towers like angry insects. Kira pulled the girl back toward an old elevator shaft. In here, fast! The shaft led downward into a collapsed sub-factory. As soon as they entered, Kira jammed a rod into the elevator door to keep it sealed. Outside, Acheron kept fighting, keeping the drones away from the entrance. The girl watched the battle through a crack in the door, her eyes wide. He's outnumbered. She whispered. He knows, Kira replied, checking her weapon. But he'll keep fighting as long as your heart tells him to. In the dark factory below, the walls glowed faintly with old energy. Machines once used for building warbots still hummed softly, forgotten by the world. Strange glowing runes were etched into some of the walls, not human designs, but alien markings. The girl stopped in front of them. I know these symbols. Kira turned sharply. What did you say? I've seen them before. In dreams, maybe memories? Kira stepped forward. These symbols weren't made by Earth. They're from a species we never fully identified. They were wiped out before first contact. Or so we thought. The girl touched one of the glowing symbols. A pulse of light flowed down her arm. The factory responded, lights turning on, machines activating. What did you just do? Kira asked. I just told it I'm home. Acheron burst through the door moments later, bruised but alive. He stood still, then looked around. The glowing chamber. His eyes flickered and turned from red to gold. Kira watched, breath held. This isn't just a hiding place, it's a forgotten outpost. The girl stood at the center, glowing softly. I think it's mine. And above, the iron forest, black spy drones caught a faint signal spike. The enemy now knew exactly where she was. Asterisk. The hunter arrives. Asterisk, high above Earth's orbit, aboard a Black Ops vessel cloaked from all civilian satellites. The director stood before a sealed chamber surrounded by armed guards. Behind the thick glass stood a machine, 8 feet tall, with limbs shaped like razors and a face carved from dark alloy. Its body pulsed with quiet menace, its red core throbbing like a heartbeat. A technician approached nervously. Sir, are you sure? Activating this. The director raised his hand. Send in the hunter. The girl must be neutralized. I don't care if it levels the entire iron forest. The technician hesitated, then entered the command. The hunter's core lit up. It moved, back in the glowing chamber deep beneath the iron forest. Kira crouched beside an old console, rerouting power to a hidden lift. Acheron lay beside the girl, parts of its frame scorched and scratched from the earlier battle. It was healing, but not fast enough. The girl sat in the center of the alien chamber, the green in her hair glowing like emerald light under the symbols on the walls. Her hand traced the ancient markings without fear, as if remembering something buried deep inside her bones. Kira looked over. You activated this place like it knew you. Like it waited for you. The girl nodded. It feels familiar. Like I've been here before, but I wasn't born here. Kira stepped forward. You weren't. I think you were grown engineered. But not by us, these machines. These markings. This is alien tech older than Earth's first satellite. Acheron's red eyes scanned the door. It stood up sharply and released a low growl. What is it? Kira whispered. and then the ground shook. Not from below, but from above. The ceiling exploded as a sleek black figure dropped from the sky like a meteor. It landed in a crouch, then slowly stood, scanning its surroundings. The hunter was here. Acheron roared and charged forward, claws lighting up with blue plasma. But the hunter moved like no machine ever had, silent, controlled, graceful. It sidestepped Acheron's strike, twisted midair, and slammed the blade through the lion's shoulder joint. Acheron fell with a metallic scream. "No!" the girl shouted. She ran forward, but Kira grabbed her arm and pulled her back. "You can't fight that thing. It's not like the others. It doesn't think, it calculates." Acheron tried to rise again, but the hunter was faster. It smashed its foot into the lion's side, cracking its armor. With another strike, it drove a second blade straight into Acheron's chest. Sparks burst out. Acheron collapsed. The hunter turned toward the girl. Its sensors locked on her. Its core spun up. It moved. The girl's eyes widened. Her hand clutched the device Kira had given her, but it didn't respond. Acheron wasn't moving. Its eyes were dark. "No," she whispered. "Please, get up." The hunter charged. The girl screamed, and something inside her snapped. The room lit up with blinding green energy. The alien symbols on the walls glowed brighter than ever. The girl's body floated a few inches off the ground, her eyes completely golden now. The hunter paused for a fraction of a second, but it was enough. Acheron's core pulsed once. Then again, its eyes reignited gold, not red. With a roar that shook the forest above them, Acheron stood, blades bursting from its mane, wings made of energy flaring from its back. It was no longer the same machine. It had evolved. Fully awakened by the girl's command, the hunter turned just in time to meet a blast of energy that sent it flying through 3 metal walls. Acheron roared and launched after it. The girl dropped to her knees, breathing hard. Kira stared at her asterisk. Core awakens asterisk. The walls of the underground chamber rattled with force as Acheron smashed into the hunter, tearing through metal and circuitry with renewed fury. It wasn't just rage, it was purpose. His body, once battle-scarred and dented, now pulsed with golden light. The ancient symbols around the chamber echoed that same glow, as if responding to the bond between machine and girl. Kira could hardly breathe. She had built Acheron as a weapon, programmed him to follow logic and algorithms. But now he moved like something alive, not just reactive, protective. And the girl at the center of it all had changed him beyond anything Kira could explain. The girl knelt near Acheron's damaged core module, her fingers trembling. "He's still hurt," she whispered. "He's strong, but it's not enough. The hunter doesn't feel pain." Acheron stood his ground but staggered slightly. The hunter rose from the wreckage, half its face torn off, revealing a second mask underneath. Its internal systems rerouted instantly, damage ignored. It launched forward with a spinning blade, fast as lightning. Acheron blocked the strike with one massive paw, but the impact forced him back. The hunter pressed harder, its movements cold, calculated. There was no emotion, no hesitation. The girl stood, her breathing heavy. A strange current moved through her veins, green light flowing like fire. "Acheron," she said, her voice shaking. "Don't fight alone." She reached into the satchel Kira had packed for her and pulled out a crystal tube, the emergency core trigger. Kira's eyes widened. "No, wait, that core ... it's untested." But it was too late. The girl pressed the crystal into the port on Acheron's chest. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire chamber exploded in light. The symbols on the walls pulsed brighter than ever, forming a circle around them. Acheron's body lifted into the air, parts shifting, expanding. Plates folded back to reveal hidden layers. Gold circuits wove themselves into his limbs. His eyes turned from gold to white, brilliant and blinding. The hunter paused. Its sensors jammed. Target lost. Systems confused. Acheron dropped back to the ground like thunder. But now he looked different. Taller, sleeker, more than a machine. Protector reborn. He didn't roar this time. He simply moved in one clean, fluid motion. Acheron struck the hunter with a force that split the wall behind it. The hunter's arm shattered, its legs bent awkwardly. Its internal AI tried to retreat, pulling up secondary protocols. But it was too late. Ash Iron pinned it to the ground, his claws forming into energy spears. The girl stepped forward, her voice quiet but commanding. End it. Acheron obeyed. The hunter's core was crushed in a single motion. The body sparked once, then lay still. Silence followed. Kira slowly walked toward the girl, still stunned. That wasn't just power. That was a command. You gave a direct order. And he followed without delay. He's not reacting to your fear anymore. He's listening to your will. The girl looked at Acheron, her hands glowing faintly. I didn't know I could do that. But when I touched the core, I felt it. A voice. Not mine but mine. Ancient and calm. Kira crouched near her, whispering. You're bonded to him now. Fully. There's no separation between your thoughts and his systems. You didn't just wake him, you became part of him. Acheron bowed his head toward them both, his white eyes still shining. Suddenly, warning tones blared on Kira's wrist device. She tapped it and froze. No, they've launched an orbital payload. The girl looked at her. What does that mean? It means, Kira said grimly, they've given up on killing you quietly. They're going to erase this forest from space. Above them in low orbit, a missile streaked through the dark sky. It wasn't nuclear but worse. A kinetic rod. Pure. Tungsten, fired at planetary speed. It would smash into the forest like a falling star and leave nothing behind. Kira ran to the console. I can't stop it. It's locked in. The girl turned to Acheron. Can you fly? The massive machine tilted its head. His back opened, forming wings of plasma and light. Not true wings, but thrusters powerful enough to blast through stone. Kira stared. I didn't build that. No, the girl said softly. But I did. Acheron lowered himself. The girl climbed onto his back. Kira hesitated, then followed. With a final growl, Acheron shot upward through the crumbling ceiling, tearing through steel and dirt, past rusted towers and shattered sky beams. They broke into the open air, the iron forest burning below them. And in the sky above, the missile screamed down. The girl focused, her hands glowing once more. Acheron tilted mid-air and surged upward faster than Kira thought possible. They raced the weapon through the clouds. Just as the rod broke the atmosphere, Acheron slammed into it from the side. The force sent both of them spinning, but the missile's angle changed, just enough to miss its target. It crashed into the ocean miles away. Waves erupted. Satellites blinked. The iron forest still stood. On Acheron's back, the girl collapsed. In exhaustion, Kira held her tightly. You saved him, Kira whispered. And he saved us. Acheron hovered in the sky, wings glowing, their figures silhouetted against the breaking dawn. But even with victory, Kira knew something darker was coming. The girl had awakened more than just a machine. She had awakened a legacy, and someone, somewhere, would not let her claim it quietly. Kneel before her. Acheron landed gently on a hill overlooking the ruined iron forest. Smoke curled into the morning sky as broken machines sparked and fizzled below. The air was still, heavy with silence, like the world was holding its breath. Kira climbed down from Acheron's back and caught the green-haired girl as she swayed, weak from the energy she had spent. You did it, Kira whispered. You stopped the strike. You saved this place. The girl blinked slowly, her golden eyes dim now. It's not over. They're still watching. They'll send more. Kira looked up. She didn't need a scanner to know the truth. Above the clouds, satellites tracked every move. Warships lingered beyond the atmosphere, unsure whether to attack again or run. The display of power they had just witnessed, the girl riding a reborn mech beast into the sky and turning a doomsday weapon away, had left even the most hardened tacticians shaken. Acheron stood tall beside them, his body humming with silent strength. But something in his posture had changed. He was no longer just guarding the girl, he was waiting. Kira followed his gaze and realized others were watching too. From the edge of the iron forest, survivors began to appear. Old scavengers, hiding. Families, outlaws. They had lived in the wreckage for years, always in fear of military raids or malfunctioning warbots. Now they were emerging from hiding, drawn by the glow in the sky and the lion that had bowed. A boy stepped forward, covered in grime, holding a rusted piece of tech. He stared at the girl, wide-eyed. "You're the one who made the metal beast kneel." A murmur passed through the crowd. The girl stepped back. "I didn't mean to. I'm not anyone special." "Yes, you are," Kira said firmly. They all saw it. The whole world saw it. That machine, the most powerful weapon ever built, bows to you like you're its queen. Acheron moved. Slowly, he turned and dropped to one knee in front of the girl again. The massive claws folded back. The golden light around his chest core pulsed gently, matching her faint heartbeat. His head lowered in reverence. The crowd gasped. Kira stepped beside the girl and whispered, "He's not just showing loyalty. He's recognizing you. This isn't obedience. It's declaration." The girl took a step forward. Her legs shook, but her back straightened. She placed a hand on Acheron's head, and in that moment, every broken screen in the forest flickered to life. An ancient symbol appeared, circular and glowing, with branching lines that formed a crown-like shape. Kira blinked. "That's not Earth code." "No," the girl said quietly. "It's from where I'm really from." Above them, in the war room orbiting Earth, panic spread. "She's activated the royal emblem," an officer shouted. "Confirmed match with lost alien dynasties cataloged by the Andros Treaty." The director slammed his fist on the console. "So it's true. She's not just an experiment. She's their heir." Another officer stammered. "Then by interstellar law, we can't harm her. If she activates the Accord, she has a claim over any machine bound to her bloodline, including Acheron. And we just tried to kill her," the director growled. "Which means Earth is now in violation of intergalactic royal protection laws." Back on the ground, the girl looked up at Kira, scared. "I don't want to rule anyone. I just want to be safe." Kira smiled softly. "Sometimes, being safe means becoming something bigger than yourself. It doesn't matter if you want to win. Throne or not, you already have followers. You already have power. Now you have a choice." She turned to the growing crowd. "This girl has been hunted, labeled dangerous. They tried to erase her just like they erased the ones who made her. But now you've seen the truth. She saved this city. She protected a forest everyone else abandoned. She faced a weapon from the stars and stood her ground." Acheron let out a low, resonant growl that echoed across the hills. One by one, the people around them fell to one knee, humans, hybrids, even rogue bots that had wandered from the forest. They knelt not out of fear, but recognition. Kira looked back at the girl. "What will you do now?" The girl stood quietly, her hand still resting on Acheron's head. "I will find who I am," she said. "I will learn what they took from me, and when they come again, I won't run. I'll face them. Not as a target, but as their equal." Kira nodded. "Then we stand with you." Acheron's golden glow spread outward like a pulse. A signal. Across the broken world, machines that had once belonged to fallen empires flickered awake. Eyes turned to the sky. Codes long buried reactivated, and somewhere, far across the stars, a long-forgotten crown began to glow once more, its rightful heir reborn. The girl did not know her name yet, but the galaxy would.